You're listening to this episode on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Hit that subscribe button and leave us a comment. It would greatly benefit the show.
Oh, that was okay.
A little bit harder that time?
A little bit harder.
A little bit harder. Harder.
Harder?
Did you see that mouth? It got me. It got me. There's... Okay, watch how I do this one. The siege relates to clear and present danger because I was thinking of the siege 5 years ago when we had semi-martial law in Minneapolis, and then obviously recent events. But clear and present danger is like that plus wag the dog is, we're going to war in South America. And Jack Ryan from the Tom Clancy books, that's one of the Harrison Ford movies. It's the sequel to is it the sequel to Patriot Games?
Yes.
Or is so Patriot Games comes
Which is
after.
the sequel to Hunt for Red October, but they couldn't get out. They didn't want Alec Baldwin back.
Yeah, get Harrison Ford's way better.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, because everyone thinks of Harrison Ford as Jack Ryan.
I think
They
so.
do?
He's played him more...
Who else? Ben Affleck. Who else has been Jack Ryan? There was like a TV show, right?
Jim,
Oh,
I guess,
yeah, John
Krasinski.
Krasinski. But
Yeah.
no one's played the part more than once in a movie other than Harrison Ford, I don't think.
Sure. I mean, that's technically correct, because Kirk played him in, like, an origin story, as
Who?
did Batfleck. Well,
Kirk? Who's Kirk?
one of the Chris's. Well, the Chris Pine.
Oh, you mean
that does
new
sound-
Captain Kirk.
New Captain
Sure.
Kirk. Oh, excuse me, not New Kirk.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
I mean,
New Kirk.
We would replace you on the
Wow.
show
Oh, no.
Dang.
with Chris Pine. Welcome to Movie Baiters with the Farx Brothers. I'm Kyle.
I'm Kirk.
I'm Nick.
And we're joined by Matthew Daniel Ford, right?
It's pronounced Fjord.
Ford?
No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
That invisible J there.
It's Matthias Daniel Fjord.
He's an actor, writer, director, and editor. We're talking about non-spoilers for The Siege.
You can't spoil it, or we'll spoil it.
So,
We'll eventually
in
spoil
this
it.
segment, we can discuss what a spoiler is or is not. I would say if it's in the trailer for the movie, which I showed Kirk after we watched the movie 2 days ago, which I think was Kirk's first time.
Okay.
And you'd seen this movie before, right?
No, actually, I hadn't. I was a virgin. I was lying at that party. I hadn't seen it. I didn't see it in the theaters. My siblings saw it, and they didn't take me with them. And they said it was good, and I remember them saying it was good. But yeah.
In '98?
I remember them seeing it and talking about it. And
Wait. Tell me. Go back to the party. Tell me what you remember of me approaching you at this party.
let's see.
Because I have my memory
A
of
drunk, disgruntled Kyle came up to me and
Disgruntled.
I never drink.
started saying things about habeas corpus and police states. And then he got real close and he's like, have you ever seen the Denzel Washington film The Siege? And if you haven't, you're not cool.
It's a really good Kyle.
Yes. I'm constantly talking like that.
Yeah, it's like John Huston with a cigar in his mouth. Oh, I see as many films as I can.
See that horizon? It's a horizon. You don't put that in the middle. That's boring. And then you switch into a David Lynch. You put it at the bottom or you put it at the top. That's interesting.
If you put the horizon at the top of the frame, it says something to the subconscious mind.
You've seen The Fablemans, I take it.
Yeah.
That's what that's from. Neither of you have seen
It's
it.
interesting if you watch John Ford movies after that. That is true if you look at his framing. And he's
Name
right.
2 John Ford movies.
Wow.
The Searchers, Cheyenne Autumn, The Man Who
You-
Shot Liberty Valor.
They just saw half of The Searchers.
What
The
did you think
Searchers?
of half
that
of The
one.
Searchers?
What do we have?
Because you guys came over and we were going to watch something else, but I was finishing The Searchers.
Oh, the one, the western in the
cowboy
desert.
movie,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
And-
What did you think of what you saw?
I was completely lost. 'cause that's
This
Yeah, well, we
division?
walked in
What's
halfway,
going on?
halfway
Yeah,
through, but like, the Vista Vision was really yeah, I mean, you could tell it was you could tell it was not just regular old film they were shooting on.
Oh yeah.
Very expansive.
So
what do you mean
what are
by
your thoughts,
expensive?
Kurt?
What do you mean by expensive? Not regular old film. What is
Well,
that?
the sense that you're like packing more. It's similar to how I feel about anamorphics, or what anamorphic
yeah.
lenses really are doing. it's like you're just gathering more with anamorphics mainly background, but like that's kind of how you're going to see it anyway. Like frame the same thing and frame your foreground the same way, but the different lenses or the different film, the different size film influences the lenses, so that's part of it too. So it does come down to the lens, I guess, but it just feels like you're taking so much more and cramming it in without stretching it, even though it is. But it's like, you see that? Okay.
Hand magic for the visual
Yeah.
watchers.
Hand magic.
So it just where some things, like you compare it to like a TV show on the extreme opposite end of the spectrum, it just feels like you're watching the world through like a small rectangle through a piece of cardboard or something, and like you wish the box was bigger, the opening in the cardboard, because it's like you feel like it's just like that. It's tiny. So I was impressed by the VistaVision.
Yeah.
Oh.
It looked more different than a movie of that time than like I wasn't really seeing it that much in one battle after another. Like it wasn't hitting me like the difference between that and a regular shot on film movie. But,
Yeah, one battle after another. It felt like it felt like a lot of handheld kind of stuff. It was an interesting matching of like a style that you wouldn't expect for VistaVision.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't shot. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Well, PTA always moves he always moves the camera, so I guess having some handheld would be. I don't know if they did any handheld for that, but
I felt like it. Boogie Nights would have been interesting if they. I feel like that would have matched VistaVision because there's a lot of just long, fluid, steady cam type takes in that one.
you could fit more naked people in the background.
That's true. With the Searchers, though, yeah, I don't know how much of it you saw, but I really like how John Ford, there's a sense of space to it, but he uses it to create this sort of like claustrophobic isolation that, the environment feels oppressive and you feel like you're kind of, there's nowhere to go because you can see how open everything is and like, like the sequence where they have to cross the river or whatever, or pretty early on.
Yeah, they didn't see that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
that's amazing because they took horses and did that.
Yeah. But just there's a tension there, and if you were watching it in a smaller frame, they'd have to do it differently. And I don't know. I just think they were really using the format well.
They do something similar on 1883, which I haven't watched all of, but
yeah,
that
okay.
feels like TV, even though it's shot in 4K. It just doesn't. It feels like TV. Taylor Sheridan has directed and written movies that feel like movies. In fact, just so that we don't lose the thread, The Siege is a 1998 movie.
Yep.
It feels like movies.
It does, yeah, it does. It
And
feels-
Edward Zwick movies usually feel that way, all the way up to
they're very cinematic, yeah.
even the Tom Cruise Never Back Down.
Yeah, the Jack Reacher one. That still feels like a movie. Yeah, it doesn't feel like TV, even though
The writing feels like TV.
Yeah, in so many ways it feels. But in terms of just the visual, the visceral experience of it, it feels it could have been made in the '90s.
Are you familiar with the Ed Zwick oeuvre?
Glory.
Okay, so
Watched
you know
Glory
Glory.
in school. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I didn't.
Samurai.
I didn't know he did that. I didn't know he did Jack Reacher. I didn't know
Okay.
I didn't know what else he had done actually.
Got it. I'm trying to. So this came up before 9/11. Do you
Yeah.
think the critics were right to trash it? Like, is this a?
What did they
Well,
say
yeah,
about
what
it?
did
How
they
did
say
they
about
trash
it?
it? I remember
cult-
it coming out, but I didn't remember. I wasn't following like what reviews were. I was.
The controversy at the time was about how it represented some Arab Americans, and the counter to that made by the director, and you can go read his op-ed at the time, was kind of like, well, just like the non-Arab Americans, there are good guys and bad guys, there are people who are on the antagonist side and people who are on the protagonist side of most ethnicities. I don't think there's any bad guys who are black necessarily, because Denzel Washington's obviously the hero, but
Yeah.
I mean, the question, I guess, could be that some critics felt it was insensitive to that community. Also, and it seems silly to say after 9/11, it may have seemed sensationalist in 1998, coming out the same year as Godzilla. Like, oh man,
Yeah,
could you imagine
yeah.
this attack on New York kind of thing?
Yeah. So what was the question?
We're critic like it has a 44% on Rotten Tomatoes. Is this a 45% movie to you on Rotten Tomatoes? Like if you watch this next to what today would get 45%, like Five Nights at
Well,
Freddy's?
to be fair, it's 45% positive, right? It's not that it's.
It's 55% negative then.
Yeah, but
the number is the positive number.
It's
So they
a
give
positive
them-
number technically.
Well, yeah, anything below 60 is not considered good on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I mean it's out of
aggregate,
100.
yeah.
It's like a school, like
Its
out of
Wikipedia
100.
will say mixed reviews, but now it's had like this reinterpretation
I mean, I
since
get the
9/11.
criticism. It is fair because the background people have nothing to do with the movie in a way, because they don't directly have a part to do with the movie. They're just bystanders who are caught in this crossfire of Americans putting these immigrants in jail, more or less.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
and that I would maybe save that because like the
Is that
people in cages thing is
I mean-
there's so much of this movie that's like, oh man, that's weird. How do you feel? Like, do you feel this is critics were right at the time to say maybe this was insensitive or too sensationalist? It seems dumb after 9/11 to say, oh, this is too sensationalist because,
Before I answer that, I do want to give a shout out to, there's a really good Edward Zwick movie called About Last Night with Demi Moore and Rob Lowe. And
I've seen the remake that Kevin Hart did. I've never seen
I don't know if there's a
The
remake,
remake.
but
Yeah.
Demi Moore gives an amazing performance, so I recommend if people are looking for some good Zwick, check out About Last Night. I thought it was fun.
Academy Award nominee.
Oh God, yeah.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, but yeah,
just like
she should have got a nomination for About Last Night. But the question is this movie racist? Is that the kind of
Insensitive to...
Is it insensitive to the air to air
Also,
to
it seems silly to say this when the president is calling, one country's immigrants to this state garbage,
No,
which is clearly wrong and anti-American to be doing. But
Yeah, it's interesting because when you look at movies from the 90s that feature Arabs in an antagonistic role, this movie would appear more progressive than like True Lies.
that's exactly what I was thinking of.
Does Patriot? I don't remember. But
Patriot Games is, well, that's the thing is that, like, what I like about Patriot Games as a Jack Ryan movie is it's about how the Irish were essentially terrorists.
Yeah, it's Irish. Yeah.
They're Irish terrorists.
Yeah, and
Big in my house.
And when the first half of the movie, when it started, the impression I got was that this is sort of like The Wire, but in terms of like international intrigue. And there are scenes in there where you have it's a Sadir character, whatever, the guy that's sort of like a mole, and he seems, because he's a Palestinian, I think.
Correct, he's
And he
Palestinian.
seems, like he's getting much more nuanced than I had seen of a character like that in any 90s movie. So I'm like, oh, is this going to be sort of like The Wire, where you're getting the whole picture? And there's a moment where they're in the bar talking, and they're talking about the Palestinian-Israel situation, and they're like, the Palestinians are some of the nicest people in the world, and they are forced to live in some of the worst conditions imaginable. So the movie's obviously aware of the geopolitical situation that was happening at the time. But then, yeah, it takes all of that and it becomes like a backhanded thing where it goes in a direction that felt dismissive and backhanded. And
You're talking about the conclusion of the movie?
in the second half. And the impression I got was, like, my immediate response was like, it's almost like Birth of a Nation or something. It just felt so dismissive. And it
You
kind
mean the KKK Birth of a Nation?
yeah,
not the
yeah, like it
2016
felt like propaganda by the end of it, and it felt
Okay.
weird.
Because it maybe paints one group as being
Right? Yeah, exactly. It feels like by the end of it, it becomes this cartoon caricature in kind of the worst way, and it's also wagging this moral finger at you while doing that.
in a different direction. I would
Yeah,
argue, too.
yeah, it is. It's talking about torture and all that stuff.
Habeas corpus.
Yeah, exactly.
And like habeas corpus is done away with. That was an Obama thing since 2014.
No, yeah.
If you're called a terrorist, we can,
It's weird though because it
I'm
gives
pro-America.
it gives more nuance, but then at the same time it takes that nuance and it twists it in a way that felt really regressive. So I don't know. I mean, yeah.
We're in spoilers, so here's how I want to counter what you're saying.
No,
because
we're in non-spoilers.
Oh, we're in non-spoilers. Excuse me. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry.
I'm going to counter what you're saying
Yeah, yeah.
with one example of someone doing something wrong it would be collectivist to take that individual and paint the whole group. And clearly
Right.
we are given people on different sides. Because to me, this is like a America versus Muslims thing.
Basically, exactly, yeah.
It's like an America versus Muslims thing, and then it's like there are Muslims on both. Like, have you seen Looming Tower? It's a book, and it was made into a TV series. And in the series, there is a someone working alongside. I think it's the FBI side. There's a now I feel dumb because I didn't look up what his. But he is a practicing Muslim FBI agent who is around 1998 in the lead up to 9/11 because Jeff Daniels' character is like an FBI thing. This person who dies in one of the towers, and like the conclusion of the book is kind of going off the 9/11 report, where like the NSA and the FBI don't talk to each other, and that's what led to the blind spot that allowed 9/11 to happen. Supposedly, is the conclusion of the report, this series. And what I take away from this movie is that, what the fuck? We knew in 1998 that like we have a movie where the CIA and the FBI are having troubles talking to each other, like kind of dramatized in a silly way in this movie, I would argue. But spy movie thoughts from you guys?
Yeah, I mean I don't know. That always seems to be like the case. Agencies are not going to talk to each other, and something bad happens. Are they talking to each other now after the fact? I don't know.
Well, I mean, maybe somebody benefits from them not talking to each other.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, isn't The Long Kiss Goodnight a little bit about that too, where it's predicting, it's like we're going to have an event that's going to kill 4,000 people, and then we're going to blame it on Muslims, and then it can let us further our goals. So maybe somebody benefits.
Isn't that a Shane Black movie?
Yeah, Shane Black.
I haven't seen that in 15 years.
It's got some pacing problems.
Oh, okay. Because who's it's
Samuel L. Jackson and Gina Davis. Those are the leads.
Yes.
I don't remember anybody else in that.
Rennie Harlan, I think, didn't Rennie Harlan direct it?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
Did you watch it? So where does this like rank in your like 90s action movies? Where were you in the 90s and since then? And because I thought this was kind of an action movie.
It's like a thriller. It's like an action.
Yeah.
It's got some.
Yeah, if you say thriller with some action more than an action movie, But wait, what was your question? Where was I in the 90s?
Yeah, what were you doing in the 90s? What was your experience of the decade?
I'll ask the question. I'll ask a different question that could be related in a different way. I was saying to Kirk when we were watching this that this movie kind of falls into the category for me of like movies we don't see anymore because this would be a series, and then you wouldn't have the problem.
Mini-series.
You wouldn't have the problem at the end. Like, actually, if someone were looking for a nuanced version of
I
this...
think they could have done nuance in the 2 hours.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree, I'll put it that way, because I don't like the end of this movie, which we can talk about.
We'll talk
spoilers.
about it,
Because it kind of feels like this is how 90s movies ends, is like, oh, I gotta have this action scene, and...
Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying.
Sure.
So I would argue... Okay, so do you agree or disagree with the concept that we don't make movies like this anymore? You nodded along, so it seemed like you agree. Maybe while he's forming his thoughts, why do you agree?
Oh, that they don't make movies like this?
Yeah, you say
because they're not going to make any money.
Yeah.
It's going to flop. Nobody's going to.
The people who would see it are like the demographic, who probably the ones who did go to see that. I don't think that's did particularly well, right? Was it a box office success?
I don't think this.
Either way, it was 20 some years ago. It was like, so it was different times.
It was
like,
moderate. It wasn't. Like if you look at the Wikipedia, it says something like mixed reviews and moderate success. Like
so, like the demographic was already maybe limited, and it's even more limited now. So like I don't think they would go out to a theater for, and that's why they don't get made. They would make it. Yeah, they would make it as a series. I think. I think. I mean, that's what I think.
Nowadays it would have to be combined with some kind of genre thing. So maybe the Denzel Washington character would have a special set of skills or something. Yeah. You have to base. It has to have some sort of franchising aspect. It wouldn't just be about this concept.
It would have to be like a universe. Like,
I mean, you can try to sell a Denzel Washington lead movie, and they did Highest to Lowest, which is but that flopped. So.
Yeah, it was an Apple movie, and they
exactly. Yeah, that had like limited. It would be a limit. Yeah,
like Equalizer, those movies always do well, right?
Yeah, but those aren't like they don't have any political.
Well, no, we're talking about. I mean, like Denzel.
Sure,
like
Denzel's been bankable for a while, but he doesn't.
I would say One Battle After Another is kind of the closest thing to this sort of genre. political thriller action thing, and that was a sort of a success in some. I mean, it wasn't huge.
It's a comedy according to the Golden Globe
no,
nominations.
yeah,
Like,
it is.
oh, wow.
It is a
What?
comedy.
Damn.
It's very much like Dr. Strangelove, Wag the Dog. It's like a comedy about revolution, and it kind of feels similar to this, where you could see it as dismissive of political activism in a way. But I think it has the guise of comedy, so I think for me, it kind of works still. I don't know.
There's the theory, I don't want to get too far off on One Battle After Another, that it's saying that the political when does One Battle After Another take place? Because if it takes place closer to now, maybe it's criticizing the right-wing government.
Right.
But if it takes place like 10, 15 years ago, then maybe it is criticizing the hope and change that then turned into Occupy Wall Street, that then turned into identity politics, and didn't deliver on the economics for a broader set of people. Clearly, so like it could be commenting on that, or it could be commenting on both, and art doesn't have to decide.
I think it's a lot closer to now because they're detaining immigrants more or less. They're detaining people who cross the border.
They were doing that under the other two administrations as well.
Yeah, sure, but this is very concentrated. Hey, we're detaining people here, so it is a lot closer to this time.
Well, and to the point that he's kind of making with the simplicity of the movie is that I think maybe we do that so that we can spend more money on an ever rising Department of War budget. So
Department of War, yeah.
Like movies like this, where you would think like, hey, like this could be like. Most critics aren't voting Republican. Sorry.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not sorry about that, but like they could be looking at this going kind of how like I walked out of Top Gun Maverick going, oh no, that's going to encourage them to. Like,
I still haven't seen that.
You haven't seen Maverick?
No, I saw the first one. Should I go watch it? I've heard good things. Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's an entertaining movie. It doesn't like. I would prefer The Siege to Top Gun Maverick from like at least it's got a point of view and has something to chew on
Yeah,
intellectually.
I have heard that that's just some vague enemy or something, and it's
Yeah,
just
they
kinda
never
like,
say.
Oh yeah, you
who
don't
it
know
is.
who the
Yeah.
villain is.
Oh.
You don't even know whether or not how well he pleased that woman that he clearly had sex with.
Wait, what?
It's on top of the sheets. I don't think they had sex in that movie.
No,
it was just some heavy petting.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is totally into women.
He is, but he did not lay that woman in that movie.
No.
I forgot. I saw it in the theater, and I forgot
Well, like,
95% of it.
I remember stuff from The Siege more than I remember from Top Gun Maverick.
Really?
Although I do quote Top Gun Maverick all the time.
Well, you did just watch this in 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
So I watched this in 2020.
Yeah.
You watched The Siege in 2020?
I watched The Siege.
So this is the second time viewing that you.
I've watched it like 3 times in the past 5 years.
Wow.
All
Okay.
right.
That's
Because
cool.
I bought it on a whim, and I'd seen it before. I saw it when I was a young lad.
Oh, wow.
Because I had it confused with Peacemaker.
I could see that, yeah.
Okay.
I actually did see, that's the George Clooney, Nicole Kidman. Yeah, I saw that in the theater, and it was so loud, I had to cover my ears for some of the gunshots. For some reason, the mix was super loud. Yeah, that's a pretty fun movie.
It is. I'm trying to think if I own a copy of it, because I would like to watch that again. Did you guys see Peacemaker?
No, I did
No,
not.
and I thought I was picturing
TV
Val
show.
Kilmer, but that's The Saint, and I don't even know what The Saint is about. All
That's
these
not
movies came out at the
political at
same
all.
time.
Yeah, they all came out in the 90s, right?
97.
90s action movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
adult 90s action movies where you got a star and you're seeing it because the star's in it, and it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a franchise.
That's kind of the thing too. Like there is, well, other than like, very few exceptions. There are no like stars anymore.
No,
That's
not as
why
much,
like
no.
this movie was like, oh, it's a Denzel Washington movie, right? Like now there might be a few people you could put in it at that same. Just across the board though, like people aren't as bankable as they used to be.
Like if Leo decided to make play an FBI agent, which he has in
Yeah,
too distant
yeah.
past, and instead of focusing on the killing of people in, was it Oklahoma? No. It's the flowers of the
Killer,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
other flower movies.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Tulsa,
yeah.
Oklahoma, right? Yeah. I think it's pretty
so.
much there where they had the people like
Yeah.
come in and take the land out from under the.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that, he goes and does something in New York with Arab Americans around the late '90s, early 2000s. If he decided to do a period piece, you know what I mean? Would they do that? No.
Oh yeah, I mean,
What
like
would the equivalent
not for
of this
the
be now?
Of the Siege.
Yeah, because like what are the other Denzel comps? Like, could
Oh,
Jamie Lee Foxx come into a movie like this?
it would be a straight to streaming thing. It wouldn't be in theaters.
I called him Jamie Lee Foxx.
Jamie Lee-
Foxx.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Foxx.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's hard to think of an example of a movie like because the closest examples would be like TV shows nowadays. I think.
Yeah.
That's just the business of it, but like
So what was your feeling about the racial representation in the film?
Yeah, white guy, come on.
Oh my god.
I mean, I didn't feel the movie was racist. I felt like there are characters who had, but that's different.
Stereotypes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like there are characters who talk a certain way. I mean, like I don't know. Movies are always of their time to a degree,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
so
they're
like
artifacts of an era.
this is the '80s. It would have been like the Russians, right?
True.
Yes.
Like every decade has. Well, that's society though too. Like you always have to have a bad guy. I don't. Right?
You don't, but
Huh?
A really good movie. You give me
My
one.
kids always ask, "Who's the bad guy?"
No,
when we're watching a movie.
I'm saying in real life.
Yeah, no,
there's always a
you're
clear
right.
bad guy.
Like there's always
An
the
antagonist,
people
yeah.
we're supposed to be afraid of.
Don't you
Right.
know
And
that
that's-
Venezuela, they have ties to Muslim terrorism.
Right.
That's why we got to go to war with
Yeah.
them over the fentanyl.
Yeah.
They're not tripping here.
But that's what we're gonna say.
So it's like I don't blame the movie for, like if you have to make it like relatable to, you have to make it relatable to some degree, right, for your audience to come and pay to see it, right? I guess is the logic. So like you're gonna pull things from whatever like the current, like what's on people's minds at that given time.
Atmosphere.
So like yeah, so like just like if they did any movie that was made in the '80s, I'm sure it's Russians or something like that. And '90s it was this. So I don't blame the movie so much. I thought the movie handled it like it didn't feel like they were. I haven't seen American Sniper, but
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
I imagine
I have, yeah.
I imagine that the movie is definitely putting you on the side of like the guy
Yeah.
and having and a not very sympathetic view of the people. Whereas this doesn't feel like that. It didn't feel like overly sympathetic, like it was trying to like tell their story for what I mean, like be what I mean.
There are people who have Muslim faith in this movie who are the
Yeah.
good guys.
Yeah.
And who get
Yeah.
fucked over. And like it's like, hey, have you thought about that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but it's never that preachy. They don't get that much screen
Oh,
time.
you would-
No, yeah, it
Yeah,
would be like a
it's pretty at the
It's
end.
like a Brechtel test thing. Like, is it a
Yeah.
named character that's talking about? I feel like it doesn't have. I don't think there's any Muslim character that has a complete. I mean, I guess there's the guy who works the
Tony
monk,
Shalhoub's
character.
character.
Guy. Yeah.
Yeah, Monk.
Yeah, and he's kind of the closest thing. But even he kind of just becomes like a prop. I didn't feel like he.
Yeah, there's not a lot of backstory on
Yeah,
him either.
It's kind.
You don't get backstory on you don't hear about Denzel Washington's character's time at
No,
the
yeah,
Academy.
true.
Sure.
There's
The
not
only
a-
one you get backstory for is Annette Bening's character.
Yeah, Annette Bening, and you get a little bit with the Sadir character that she's
Yeah.
working with, but then, yeah.
The
spoilers.
woman and the person of color get more, than
Yeah.
Sure, but I don't think it's anything pivotal to the plot of the story. They're just kind of there.
It's like they're being used
Yeah.
for plot devices, and you're
Yeah.
not getting a holistic view, but then the movie's presenting. It's like saying we do have nuance because they are aware of the issues, but then they're not giving the whole picture. At some point, I wanted a character to say, "Wait a minute, why are they mad at us?" And
Yeah.
beyond just like we got to free our religious zealot leader guy. I wanted, I don't know.
It would be 4 years after that Bill Maher would say on ABC, and he'd get fired similarly to Jimmy Kimmel by saying, because we lob cruise missiles at them, and then they're, fucked over, so they go, okay, what can we do? We can suicide ourselves and kill as many of them as possible. And like, if we're sitting in our comfortable country, and I'm just repeating what Bill Maher said 4 years after this movie came out, and he got fired from ABC for saying it, then he went to HBO and probably that was better.
And now he's
So-
a genocide apologist. Is this the Bill Maher? Yeah.
I mean, I don't agree with where he's at on that issue, and I don't think Anna Kasparian hit every argument she could have against him.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get another one before the end of the year. Here's the better question: is like not better question, just a different topic. Is that like I have watched this movie because I'm a sicko. Like, oh, hey, it seems like we're getting martial law because the military and National Guard is coming into Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Let's watch the siege again.
It's very prominent. I mean,
What's wrong with
ice
me?
is like ice could burst in here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I mean, they'll just take away me.
Oh.
'Cause
not
I'm-
necessarily.
No, I'm
They
on
could-
their
mean,
new watch list, their
yeah.
terrorist list for anyone
Okay.
who's like anti.
Anybody who
ICE.
doesn't express
Oh.
positivity.
Yeah, they're
Well,
making their list,
yeah, you
and they're
can't-
using AI to help them too. So it's
Damn AI, that's like great. That's a different topic.
Yeah, I'm glad there was no AI in this movie. Oh, I know how we'll find the bad guy. We'll just AI. Like, they need to make a sequel to Team America that has updated technology. Like, that's the other movie that runs through my head when I'm watching this. Is like,
That's a lot more. That does a lot more stereotypes. Team America does a lot more stereotypes on
yes.
Muslims
That-
and
That's
Well,
true.
yeah.
But the question is Team America supposed to be a criticism of us, the United States? And I would argue the siege is a criticism of us, the
Yeah,
United States.
it
And like, what's
is.
great is that, hey, look, this thing that seems bad is happening. What
Yeah.
are the movies like that came out before
Yeah,
this
but Team
bad
America
thing?
makes it a joke. That's the problem I find with Team America. It makes it too much of a joke to take it seriously.
Team America got me to be more of an anti-interventionalist
Oh,
because
okay.
to me it emphasizes how stupid it is to be going around the world trying to like spread democracy. I know, let's bomb our way into democracy. Just keep bombing our way into democracy.
I mean, is
Get
it a
sign
jo-
that rocket?
is it a
Joseph,
joke? Is it a joke if America does it? I mean, America kind of does that.
Dude,
so
Yeah, no, I mean,
I don't
A
know.
governor,
Yeah.
a governor signed a missile, like
Yeah.
signed a missile, and then some guys supposedly assassinated people or tried to, and then they wrote on the bullets, and there's no connection there, but whatever.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing about this movie is, to me, it felt very myopic. It felt very much like, oh, there's these bad people and they want to hurt the New York civilians, but nobody's
Yeah.
asking. They hint at, oh, there's people in cages somewhere, and now the people are in cages here.
You see the cages in the stadium.
You do, yeah, no, I feel like maybe they needed the visual of the cages in Palestine and stuff. Maybe that would have helped or something. I don't know. Like the opening sequence, like they have the guy getting kidnapped, but maybe something in there you could like seed an emotional thread, so you get a sense of the bigger picture. I don't know. I feel like it's something where it actually makes the movie worse. Like it could be a better movie if they did more of a Wire type thing where you're, just getting a bit of an arc.
Right.
I don't know.
I think what you want is the Kingdom of Heaven director's cut of this movie, where you add arcs in and more nuance by.
No, I think the pacing is good. I think the actual structure of it's good. I think it's the handling very specifically of the Sadir subplot, because that's the thread where it should be.
Yeah.
And I feel like it doesn't deliver on that. It becomes so regressive in the conclusion.
Sure. What about the Asif Manvi character?
Which one is that?
Asif Manvi is the guy from The Daily Show. And what the other thing I didn't like is like, okay, you've got this guy, I can't remember. I started looking up like, wait a second. I hate in movies, especially American movies, where it's like they're playing this ethnicity and it's not
Oh, right,
everywhere.
but he's
Oh, yeah,
actually
yeah,
Indian,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's Indian.
Well, yeah, Asif Manvi is by nationality Indian, but practices.
Yeah.
Grew up Islam. Tony Shalhoub is from
okay.
Lebanon, but grew up a Christian in Wisconsin. So,
One thing, this movie did make me think about how like racial representation in movies in the 20th century, it never really got better. It just certain groups, they stopped portraying them in like racist ways, and for some reason in the 90s it was okay for Muslims, Arabs is just like that's the one that they can be racist towards. Before that it was like Native Americans or different groups. It's weird.
so I think Native Americans, that's more like the cowboy movies of the 50s
Yeah,
and 60s.
but I think that was a good point though. If this was the 80s, it would have been Russians. So there is something hypocritical about. I don't know.
American black people might not have been shown in the best light or with the level of nuance. Like,
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's different groups, but it feels like it's the same level of dismissiveness of certain groups, and they're using this like what you were saying. There's always this two-dimensional threat that somebody has to be the bad guy, and it gets pinned on a minority group that has a story, and you're not telling their story, and you're portraying them as the aggressor When if you looked at it holistically, it'd be, well, they're obviously the victim of this machine of, Western.
This system that is hurting an
Yeah.
individual. We need to. That's why he and I argue about this a lot in our like debates, and I think you and I would get in this argument as well. Is like I pretty much will try anything I can to defend any one individual and argue at systems as like, oh no, kind of like you're saying like, oh, hey, these people in, what is it, 2.2 million people in Palestine, and this would have been 1998, so it's 6 years before they have the vote between the PLO and Hamas, and then, maybe some prime minister funds, Hamas winning that vote.
Do you think Netanyahu would be, do you think he'd watch this movie and be like, oh yeah, see, it's making my point, or do you think he'd be offended by it?
Oh, Bibi, I would love to watch this movie with Ben Netanyahu. Oh man, could you imagine?
I feel like he would like it. I feel like he would say, "This is all my talking points."
International war criminal.
Yeah, that guy.
Decided by the ICC. I got it wrong. Did you know George Clooney's wife has left the ICC since convicting him?
No,
really?
For what reason? For the conviction?
I'm not following George Clooney's love life.
I mean, but you knew that much about her.
It came up in his promo for Jay Kelly or whatever.
The Netflix film? Yeah.
Yes. Mark Valley. Was anyone familiar with him in the movie?
No.
Is that the
Toward the
FBI
beginning?
agent guy?
Yeah, one of the stock whites in the beginning. He was on Boston Legal, and I always found that guy to be such a he seems is Chad some sort of internet word that means what does it mean?
Chad. Oh, well, what are you referring to? Like Chad
bro,
and
I
incel?
think.
Yeah.
He looks like a cop, and they have him on this, in the streets of New York undercover mission. You don't have the most cop look. I mean, that's some real late '90s.
With the
logic.
mustache?
The blonde guy. Yeah, you put a mustache on him, make him look more swarthy. That guy looks like Buzz Lightyear trying to follow a person of color in the street. That's a cop.
Oh, was he one of the guys in the tailing sequence?
Yeah,
that was a well-directed sequence.
Oh, it's a great sequence.
Yeah. And the bus sequence was really good too.
They built tension. Nick, you're an editor at times, and you care about tension and how it's built.
Yeah.
In horror, also.
Yeah.
When you masturbate.
But sure,
I can help myself.
totally different. Totally, you can't use AI.
Tension, release of tension.
So what was the question?
Without spoiling, I mean, there's not really anything to spoil. The bus sequence and/or the chase, where I'm getting pissed off at Mark Valley for existing the way he does in Humanity. Sure. Do you have any comment? Because Daniel Ford has rightfully pointed out that there's. Could you diagnose how those scenes are directed and put together in the late '90s? Versus how they might be shot now. There's no steady cam in any of those, except, maybe they're moving shots, but they're smooth in the chase. And then in the bus sequence, I feel like now you do shaky cam behind Denzel, and I'm sure they have in one of the Equalizers or something like that when he's walking up to an explosion.
Yeah, I'm sure everything. I'm sure the camera work could be more today, more needlessly kinetic, movement for the sake of movement. And the cuts would be faster for the sake of cutting faster, not to advance the story or enhance the story. It's just, it's been 0.4 seconds. We need to cut again. So if you're asking me what I think would be done differently today,
I think that's a good diagnosis. It'd be the shaky cam and then the faster cuts, whereas they let tension build.
They'd have a few oneers where the camera would just be doing 360s aggressively.
I guess that's the total opposite end of the spectrum, but possibly as annoying if it's meant to be show offy. Some manage to not be oneers. But oneer is opposite end of the spectrum where it's hey, it's not look how fast we can cut, but look how long we can get the shot going. Sometimes it really works, but sometimes you do feel like they're doing it for show.
Well, if you did the bus sequence with Denzel, they do the explosion sequence in 1917, I'm imagining you remember.
The explosion scene in 1917?
There's an explosion.
It's a war movie. There's
just the point that they, in a one shot, do an explosion scene, and there's an obvious cut when the explosion happens because there'd have to be, but people watching the movie can't tell if they even half the people that watched that in the theater didn't realize it was a one shot. Probably my parents.
Yeah, probably not.
They might have picked up on it afterwards.
Yeah, people don't really care about one.
You mentioned Wag the. Oh, are you?
Wag the
Yeah,
dog.
but I think
Can
it's
we
good.
quick- can we quick
Okay,
talk
go
about
ahead.
Wag the
Go
Dog?
ahead. Wag the dog. Go ahead.
How do you feel about it? What do you remember about it?
I remember it being a good time. That's like Doctor Strangelove, Wag the Dog, and then One Battle After Another in terms of like political comedies. I think those are the three that I mean, I think it's hilarious. I think it's a very, from what I remember, but maybe I need to watch it
So,
again.
conspiracy theory: The Siege is hard to stream. Like, it's not on one of the. You have to pay for it to stream it.
Yeah.
It's not like regularly streaming like other
It's
movies.
not on Netflix. They're not saying, "Hey, everybody, watch The Siege."
Yeah,
Paramount isn't like, "Everybody, check this out."
If you have to go and purchase the movie on a streaming site or
That
go
means they
get your
don't want you
disc,
to see it.
I feel like that and Wag the Dog share some DNA there, where it's like they're not putting the Wag the Dog at the top of Netflix.
I mean,
or
Battle
on-
of the Algiers isn't on Netflix. Burn isn't on Netflix. Or it might be on Amazon, actually. Those are movies that are political.
Yeah, Battle of Algiers is.
Have you all seen that?
No,
No,
that's
I
what he's
haven't.
watching in One Battle After Another.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
that. I know people who went to the Criterion Closet and bought it on.
Yeah.
It's actually a good movie. I would
believe
recommend
it.
it.
Is it a French movie?
Yeah.
Okay, and it's in French.
As long as you're
I believe
Irish.
so. I believe it's French. Yeah.
As long
I
as
think
you're
it's an
Irish.
Italian production because
Oh.
the director is Italian, but I'm pretty sure it's in French.
Okay, we haven't said anything about Bruce Willis, so we'll go to
Oh.
spoilers for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll
he's
go
he's in the
spoilers for
spoiler
that,
section.
yeah.
He doesn't really
Yeah.
do anything. There.
I know.
I mean, he's not in it that much, but we'll talk about it in the spoilers.
Do you want me
Get
to
you
cut?
there. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Thank you for listening. For more JK Productions, find us on Instagram at JK Productions Team and on Facebook, JK Productions MN.